nice.
Yeah.
It really does.
It does.
Well, another episode of Jay Leno's Garage. You know, it's been a while since we had any Audis here. In fact, Audi was one of the first cars we did when we started this website, when the new R8 came in. That was the V8, it had a manual transmission. It was a fantastic car. This, of course, is a 2017 V10 Plus. There was no 2016 version of this model, at least here in the States. It went 15, they skipped a year, and then it's back for 17 with a lot more horsepower and a lot more anything else. Let's meet the product manager for Audi, Anthony Garvis. Anthony, come on in. Good
Thanks,
to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Very nice, very impressive.
Yeah, it's a great
I always
car.
like the Germans' idea of red. It always has a little bit of orange in it,
Yeah.
more orangey.
Oh yeah. This is a very bright, brand new color for this car for 2017 as well.
And being as fast as it is, it's nice to know it's not a color the police will notice readily.
Yeah.
But oh, it's a great look. You know, when I had that R8, it had a manual gearbox, and sadly, there's no manuals anymore.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought it was one of the best gearboxes because to me it was just a perfect ad for Audi because it was just it shifted. It had the gate in it. It shifted nicely. It just made me want to use the clutch and the shifter because this is really the only exercise I get. I don't get out a whole lot, so that's about pretty much it for me.
The problem is I love that. That was a fantastic. The gated shifter is perfect throw. Just they're slower, unfortunately. When you're in this,
they are
and you
slower.
look at all the competition, everything's really dual clutch.
And you said something to me earlier which really surprised me because I would have thought, oh, the Europeans probably love the manual shift, and the Americans, we being kind of lazy, we like to just do it automatically. But it's really the other way around.
It's the other way around. It is the other way around. And when you look at the current S4 and S5, we're the only country with a manual transmission in that car still.
Wow.
It's S-tronic worldwide for us.
And why do you think that is? Do you think it's because Europeans had manual transmissions? The automatic is something fairly new to them, so it seems like a big deal?
It comes down to when you're doing something like this, you want the maximum speed and performance that you can get, and that is done with a dual clutch transmission.
Okay, so what do we have? How many gears?
So this is 7 gears.
7
and
speed.
so when you look, so this is a V10 Plus model. So we have
Right.
a V10 and V10 Plus.
Right.
And the Plus is 610 horsepower,
Okay.
which is up drastically from 550 on the old Plus.
Right.
And our new V10 comes in at 540 horsepower, which is pretty much on par performance and spec-wise with the outgoing V10 Plus. We've really jumped a lot on this car. So we've broken 600 horsepower, 610, 205 mile an hour top speed.
Wow.
0 to 60 is 3.2 seconds, which is a bit conservative, if you ask me. And I think you'll see when we go out later.
Are these world cars now? Is this basically the same car, maybe the exception of some lights or something? I mean, engine-wise, transmission-wise? Because it used to be Europe always got the really good stuff, and we would get a lesser version.
No, this is identical specs
Okay.
as you get in Europe. Minor little things you have to do for regulations with the US, but otherwise this is very much like almost identical to what we're going to get.
My favorite thing about Audi is just the precision, how all the shunt lines fit perfectly, how close the caliper is to the wheel. I mean, so you could not get a McDonald's single patty hamburger through there. That's how
so
that is.
this is ceramic brakes, which are standard on the V10 Plus. They're 380 millimeters, about 15 inches in the front. Those are massive brakes, and they will throw you through the windshield.
Okay, that's the standard brake.
Yeah,
so
standard on the Plus, optional on the V10.
Oh, I see.
So the way it is really, so this car, you have everything is carbon fiber on the outside, and then you have standard ceramics. Inside, this car is equipped with the sport seats, which are 18-weight power seats.
Okay.
Standard comes with racing shell seats.
Okay.
Which they're, I like to say they're for average European build men and women. They're,
those of us that are buttockly
those are a little bit
challenged,
bigger.
We don't
find
care
them
for
tough.
You know, my trouble with racing seats is I'm not racing most of the time. I'm sitting in traffic. So it's like, ow, ow. So I like a nice, comfortable seat.
Yeah. So it's just with positioning between the two cars. You see these differences. Also, this has 73-liter fuel tank instead of 83 liters for weight saving. So you have ceramic brakes. You have the smaller tank. The Bang & Olufsen stereo is optional on this car because you go with the standard stereo for weight savings as well.
Now, I remember driving my R8. Was it smaller than this physically? I'm trying to think of what's different. I mean,
It looks a lot bigger, doesn't it?
I don't know. The color makes it pop, so it makes it seem bigger, but I don't know whether maybe the tires weren't as wide back 10 years ago.
Well, they weren't 20s before, they were 19s, but they're still
Okay.
305s in the back.
Yeah.
What you're really looking at here is, obviously you see the side blade now is split into 2 parts.
Right.
And so
Oh,
this,
that's right. Yeah, it
Yep.
used to be the whole deal.
And so
that was controversial, wasn't it?
well, it's controversial in both ways, actually.
Yeah.
You split it or you have the whole one. And so you see these really sharp wheel arches, and then you've moved the door handle underneath, so like through here. It's really defined all across the front. It's
Right.
mimicking the R18 race car.
Right.
And so the door handle's moved underneath this, shoulder line,
Oh, I
so
see.
that
Yeah,
nothing
that's right.
interrupts it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, right there, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And so this gives an illusion that the car is actually very long,
Yeah.
when in fact it's about half an inch shorter than the old car.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's shorter, huh?
So it's half an inch shorter. In height, it's about half an inch less, and then it gained about half an inch in width. So you've
Okay.
changed the proportions around, and it's optically, it looks like it's longer when in fact
Okay,
it's shorter.
right. And of course, you get the V10 badging.
Yep, both cars get that.
I'm surprised there's not a little plus here.
Well, you can tell the plus from all the carbon fiber on the front,
Right,
the front
okay.
lip, the rear diffuser, the fixed rear wing.
Right. I love this massive window so you can see the power plant.
Yeah, and you see on the top now there's a cross brace on top of it as well.
Right, right. That
For
wasn't
rigidity.
always there before, was it?
No, there's one on the top, there's one on the bottom. And also new to this car, it still keeps with the Audi space frame, but now we've introduced carbon fiber.
Okay.
So pretty much everything inside here and your tunnel is all carbon fiber.
You know, so many of the cars now, it's a fixed window, and you
You can open it up.
can't do anything because obviously you check your oil and everything right there. Very nicely done.
Electronically checks oil for you
Is
too.
this is fixed?
This is
right?
fixed. So the
Okay.
V10 model gets an electronic spoiler that it extends at 75 miles per hour.
Okay.
The V10 Plus gives you the fixed spoilers added downforce.
See, I like the fixed spoiler because I have a Porsche Carrera and
Mm-hmm.
it comes up at 75 miles an hour. I'm going down the freeway. There's a cop next to me,
He knows you've been speeding.
and I see the thing goes up. And he goes, "Woo." How fast? He goes, it comes up to 75, doesn't it? I think I got to come up at 45. Yeah, right. so that's kind of the problem with that.
Yeah.
Very cool. And obviously 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, it's Quattro, a brand new Quattro system. So the old car had a vicious coupling, and now this one is now electronically controlled hydraulic
Okay.
clutch in the front. So it can theoretically do 100% of the torque, front or back, if it needs to.
Oh, I
So
see.
it's predominantly in rear-wheel drive. It's always driving the front a little bit, and then it's reading the road and
Is it
determining-
like, what's the split, 60-40?
See, the thing is, so you had a 1585 on the old car, and you could go plus or minus 15.
Right.
So you could go up to 3070 if you needed to. But on this, it's all electronic, so it's determining how it needs to adjust the power split.
Right, okay.
And then you can adjust it through drive select now.
Right.
And that's capless refueling. So
Right.
just like the R18, another Q from a race car,
Right.
no cap anymore.
Yeah, that's something that seems to be going the way of the dodo
Yep.
bird, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, obviously carbon fiber here and everywhere. Yeah. Boy, it's nicely done. It's a great looking car. I always thought this was a nice design, just a clean, nice looking car. In this color, it shouts at
Yep.
you, but if this was like a tungsten gray or
you
something,
do it in black, it's
you
different.
could move through the Autobahn fairly surreptitiously and not be seen.
And I mean, you see the front here, you have the new single frame grills, much more three-dimensional,
Right.
wider, it's honeycomb now. You have vertical elements in the daytime running lights, full LED headlights.
Now, is this a German license plate holder? Is that what
It is.
that is?
That is what this is on this car.
Okay.
So ours will have the US one, or you take it off and you have just a grill behind it.
Yeah, I hate that plate in the front.
Yeah.
You know, I wish they'd do away with that. but
It's too
they
bad.
probably
It
won't.
really, yeah. So for states that don't require it, you just pop it off and you're
Now,
set.
let me see how good your history is. I'll put you on
Okay.
the spot. The 4 rings, what do they represent? Do you know?
Yep. You have Audi, DKW, Horch, and Wanderer.
Very good. Wow, that's very good because it's immediate dismissal, I imagine,
Yes.
if you don't know that.
You have to know that.
Yeah, that's the first thing in Audi history. Those are the 4 companies that were formed to become Audi. Yeah, so. And of course, Audi goes back to the Auto Union and the great cars from the 30s. I mean, it's great to see them in the performance business because I remember when they first came to the States again in the 70s, he had the Audi Fox and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then the Quattro came along, and that was a 5-cylinder, and that won all the rallies. And that was that really helped make the name in the States, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And those cars are quite valuable now. Very nice. Can we take it for a ride?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do it. Okay, let's start it up. It's something I want to show you. Okay, see $6,000? Okay. When I started the car, the red area was $6,000. I said to him, "Oh, geez, the V10 only revs to $6,000. You know, normally aspirated and all." He said, "No, it revs to 8,700. I said, "Why is the TAC red at $6,000?" Well, when the engine's cold, it won't rev past that. And while we're sitting here waiting for the cameraman, who was having a beer, to come over the camera, it jumped to 8,700. So that's pretty cool. You know, turbos are nice and superchargers are cool, but there's something about a normally aspirated engine that just seems to breathe better. You know, I've got that old 289 and that 350 Shelby Mustang of mine, and it just breathes. You know, the response is not as fast as this, obviously, but the response is so instantaneous, and that's kind of the cool thing. So that's pretty neat. And of course, the tire pressure and everything. See the temperature of each tire, because when tires are cold, you slide off the road. That's how it works. So come on, let's go slide off the road. Oh, very nice. I mean, the difference between the noise of normally aspirated and turbocharged, it really is that much crisper.
Yep.
I mean, I read in one of the car magazines that this shares a lot of parts with the actual racing car, or no? Is that true?
So the GT3 car is built, they're developed at the same time, and they share 50% of the same parts.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, very nice. Very responsive, isn't it?
That's the thing. Naturally aspirated, instant throttle response. You have this direct connection to the car. There's no turbo lag. There's no waiting for anything.
And this is one of the last normally aspirated cars, isn't it?
Yeah.
Almost everything is.
Everything.
In this
I mean, you look
price
at
class is
911 turbo, McLaren 570S.
Ferrari.
Yeah, everything.
Everything's turbo.
And you see there,
I see
it starts, so it becomes a shift light for you too.
Green, yellow, yeah.
It goes 6500, goes green, yellow, orange, red, and then it'll flash at you, and it won't auto upshift either.
You know, it's funny how when the R8 came out with 420 horsepower, that seemed pretty good.
Yeah, it's a lot. Back in the V8, I mean, for everyday driving, it's plenty fast. It's great on the track. The balance is nice. And now you're at 610. Right. And it's even more efficient. It has cylinder on demand. So when it needs it, when you're just in normal driving mode,
it'll drop a cylinder.
It'll shut off the entire bank.
I had a car that did that, but not on purpose. It was sort of.
Yeah.
And what does it do? Keep an exhaust valve open so it works as an air pump? Is that
it's not fueling anymore. The direct specifics on it, I'm not sure how, but it kicks it back on within milliseconds when it needs it. But when you're in performance mode or sport mode or in dynamic, it never does it.
It just breathes so nicely.
Yep.
It really does.
It does.
Boy, it just gathers, doesn't it?
It throws you forward while it's shifting. It's crazy.
But it never feels like it's working hard.
No. And it goes 205 miles an hour, and it'll do it for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it needs gas. And it'll do it again for 35 minutes.
Yeah, the Bugatti does it in 12 minutes.
Yeah. It's so smooth.
Makes all the right noises, but never sounds like it's working hard.
No.
That's pretty good. Can't beat a normally aspirated engine. Now the launch control, you're saying this is pretty good too, huh?
It's fantastic.
I'll tell you what, we'll take it up. I'm curious to see what it does in, what's it turn it at 60 on the freeway in
this gear, it's probably around 2,500.
Oh, okay. But when you put it into the regular, what's the non-sport, the normal mode?
Well, the ratio is going to stay the same, but if you're in a V10, it would be lower.
Oh,
the V10 Plus, because it's no overdrive,
it's
going to be a little bit higher.
Okay.
You see here, like 1.2 Gs.
Okay.
Turn here.
And we put 1.2 Gs in the turn. That's okay.
Yeah.
So let's we'll do our usual long pull up the ramp and the freeway, then we'll go home and we'll try that launch control. Fancy word for burnouts. That's pretty good.
That's amazing, huh?
Yeah. Well, launch control has become the new burnout. This is obviously four-wheel drive, so what do? Press this button here.
Performance mode.
Now, do I bring it up to like $2,000 or what? I do?
Left foot brake and just mash the throttle, and then when you're ready to go, just release the brake and just keep the throttle down.
Just keep the throttle down. All right.
Yep. Yeah.
when that husband comes home and you need to get out of there quick, this is the car for it, boy. Boy, you see, obviously not very dramatic, but it just takes off. It pulls really, really hard. What's your 0 to 60 in this car? About 2.6, 2.7?
So we officially say 3.2.
Yeah.
I think that's a little conservative.
A little conservative,
Yeah.
officially 3.2. Okay, well, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for bringing it by.
Anytime.
You know, normally aspirated engines are quickly becoming a thing of the past. So if you like a car that really breathes, this is the way to go. Because every other car in this sector is turbocharged or supercharged now. So this is, I predict this will be a rare car pretty soon, because with the you know, the emissions getting stricter and stricter and all the restrictions, whatever it might be, everybody's got to go to turbocharging. So to have a V10 normally aspirated, it's like a modern day Cobra. Very, very cool. So Anthony, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jay.
All right. Thank you, Audi, and we'll see you guys next week.
Mm-hmm.